Dr. Wood, author of the book Miracles Minutes. Today's conversation is for women to help them understand a man's world. A man's world, if you are a man or a leader, one of the things you get in man culture, a good leader is to help other men man up. In other words, do you have any freaking integrity? Say what you mean what you say. Don't be passive aggressive, which is playing games, acting like a child, throwing things, pouting. That's childish behavior. It's not tolerated. It's not how adults work. That's not how the adult workplace works. It's not how you create a family. Those behaviors continue to adulthood, causes a lot of marriages to crumble, and you don't have a family unit together. You can't work together if someone's acting like a freaking child. Okay? So, I got 3 daughters. So, I'm going to tell you a story about what happened and what I did. And for many women, you're going to think, oh my God. But I want you to get the lesson at the end. So, we're all going to go to, I live close to Philadelphia. We're all going to go ice skating. It was around Christmas a few years ago. And I told them the plans, and they agreed, and everybody's in. And I go to pick them up, and at the last minute, one of them gets in the car. And I said, where are we going today? I said, we're going to Philly. We're going ice skating today. I don't want to go to Philly. I don't want to go. I tell you, I don't want to go. Now start backing up the car down the driveway. She goes, stop the car. She jumps out and runs off. The other one just avoided me. Okay? And the youngest got in the car and we went. Okay? So we went, me and the youngest went, we ice skated, we had a great time. But on the way home, I called the other two and told I was pissed off and I was yelling. And I was pretty upset. And I told them, I'm going to shut your goddamn phones off. I don't give a shit. And I said, if you were my sons, your ass would be knocked out in the front yard. You wouldn't be missing some teeth. You're lucky you're not a boy. I'd kill you. I'd knock you out. Talk to me like that and be disrespectful. So I said, I tell you what. You got about 3 minutes to get in conversation with me or I'm shutting your goddamn phones off. I don't care. You'll never have a phone again the rest of your life. Not you get old enough to pay for your own. So, what transpired? I said, the clock's ticking. So the oldest one actually did confront me. So what it is, I got in her face. And what she had to do was speak her truth. She had to speak her feelings. She had to get her point across. She can't use her femininity. She can't use blinkety blink. She can't use passive aggressive behaviors. She had to be assertive. I'll tell you what, she did a great job. She stood me down. She made me consider her opinion, but also she got to hear my opinion. We actually worked it out. I initiated a fight, a conflict on purpose. One, I was upset. I didn't like how I was being treated. I was being disrespected. And I was going to make my point across. Obviously, it wasn't happening with everything else that happened, so we had to take it up a notch or two. 2, the oldest actually learned something. How to get in front of a man and talk a man down. See, men operate from respect, ladies. You don't see a guy come up and slap another guy across the face and not something happen. It's called respect. We all respect each other. In the women's culture, it usually doesn't happen that way. You guys talk about each other behind your backs. Men do too, not saying they don't, but a real good man usually won't. They'll usually go up and confront somebody. They'll talk it out. Or they'll get in their face and talk up to them. Because they won't put up with passive-aggressive behaviors. Why? Because it's destructive. Go Google it. Google passive-aggressive behaviors. It's the behavior of a child. That means you're talking like a child, you're acting like a child, and you behave like a child. Children tend to be destructive. Just leave them in the room with a bunch of crowns. Come back and see what you got. Everything in the house is colored. They destroyed your property. With children, you kind of overlook it. But when you start to be about 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 40, 50 years old, you're still acting like a kid, you got a problem. No one grew you up. No one taught you to be assertive. No one taught you how to deal with conflict. And no one taught you how to be engaged in a conversation that is hot, that is heated. Hold ground. You hold ground. You don't back up. You always hold ground. I worked with that one kid, Eric, and some other young men. I mean, I worked with this one younger patient of mine. His mother was concerned. His father, she didn't think was much of a man. Here he is. He goes to school, and kids are just running all over him. This kid, he's 13 years old, big black kid, big hands. Man, he's a big kid. I'm like, but he's not asserting himself. He's letting people just push him over and push him over and push him over. He's going to get used, abused in his life because he's given carte blanche to people to do that to him. You know, if you won't stand up for yourself, someone's going to run you over. I'm not saying be aggressive. I'm saying be assertive. People will use you and abuse you if you allow it. Don't give them permission to. Let them know you say what you mean when you say. Hey, look, better knock on some other door. I'm not that kind of person. You got it all wrong. So I kind of like with Eric, I taught him to, like, you know, I played football and I was a linebacker, and you know, you got to be assertive. You're going to run over. Taught him how to be in conflict and how to not back down. Someone comes to you, don't step back, you step up. When you step up, the other person goes, whoa. It immediately tells them. It actually stops fights. It actually prevents future fights. Women, if you learn how to just step up. Now, when you step up into a man's world, don't play head games. If he's being an asshole, hey, you're being an asshole. You're disrespecting me. You know, you call them out on the foul. Don't play head games. You play head games, a man's going to kick you right back. You have to speak the truth. The truth. What's the truth here? How do you feel? What do you feel? Speak the truth and just leave it. When you get in their face, they will back down. You're not there to win the argument. You're there to make your needs known. You deserve to be treated with respect, ladies. You do. But if you don't know how to exert yourself in a way, in a man's world, I hate to say it, guys are going to use you. I teach my daughters that stuff. They're not going to let some guy run them over. And they're not going to use passive-aggressive behaviors because that doesn't work either. Because you may get your way for a while, but what will happen is they could cheat on you. They'll stop talking to you. You know, the man just checks out. He'll stay with you because, you know, maybe he doesn't think you get another girl or whatever, but the relationship goes bad. Passive-aggressive is bad, and, you know, aggressive is bad. Throwing things is bad. You confront. You assert yourself. You hold ground. Hold. And stay there in it. And what will happen is that bullshit will break the tension, and then it'll come back together. Dr. Wood, have a great day.